ready? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Saturday morning ready to do some podcasting. Find us everywhere that you find podcasts. Search us, the Blackout Tips. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We read those on the show as long as they're nice, I promise. The official weapon of the show is
Bonja.
and the unofficial sport
Bullet ball.
and bullet ball extreme. Plenty of feedback to get into. If you look in the show notes, that's where all of the feedback ways to get into this show are highlighted, and we're gonna get in there and we're gonna do some. I guess first we'll play a little bit of music before we get to our first break, so we can get to the people that gave us money. Let me play their segment music. The people that gave us money, we want to give them a shout out.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own with Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Blackout Radio Tips.
That's right. New day, new pay. Let's get into it. People that took the time out to throw a little change our way. We got Tanya S., recurring donator, Wonga from Down Under, Marlon B., yes, Marlon B., Dostry J., Shirley Wong Esquire, Tiffany B., Alfonso M., Palmetto Stone Magic, J. Full, David C., I think that's David from Brooklyn, James C., Jasmine J., Kyle K., Autumn W., Dr. Professor Bambi, Unbridled Love, and that's everybody this week. Thank you, everybody took the time out to put some money in our pockets. We appreciate y'all. Sometimes just need a little walking around money, always a home run. That's the title of this 5-star review. We got one new 5-star review from Cherison159, who says, by far my favorite podcasters. Love the show, and Rod is an amazing human and host. Karen is adorable and funny. Love you both. Thank you.
Oh, I'm adorable and funny.
Agree. I agree. And that's from the United States, but keep in mind, if you're not in the United States, you can still leave us a 5-star review. We'll still get to see it and we'll still read it on the show, and we love seeing what our international reach looks like. So continue to leave those 5-star reviews out there. Let's go ahead and get into the actual comments on the show. So we had episode 2916, eyes out, thighs out. It's our feedback show. Our girl Erica wrote in, hi y'all, it's Erica. Great feedback episode. Rod really dropped the bar when he said ridicule never motivated me. I admit I've been using the phrase big back. At first I thought it was funny, but after hearing what Rod said, I'm going to check myself when I use it. There's a power in the tongue, and what you say to yourself is important. I really wish I enjoyed weightlifting. Honestly, I'm just intimidated. I'm worried about doing it wrong and my low stamina. I know I got to start somewhere. Yeah, and I mean, listen, I can't. Look, money is a thing, so don't this is just me telling y'all my experience and what it took for me. But I also intimidated by weightlifting, and I've just I'd never done it before since like high school, and so I knew I needed help, and I knew there's professionals that know but more than me,
right?
And I went to the YMCA and was like, what's up with these programs, which I walk by every day and just never really looked into. And they said, yeah, you can we can get you a trainer, and like the first thing is like free, and they like walk you through it, talk about your goals, and it helped that there's like a program in place. Like you sit down and you talk to somebody about your goals and the stuff you want to do, what your body's capable of, what injuries you have, what things you're not comfortable with. And then like, you meet the trainer, and then they go over your goals. They show you like some stuff. And, I made sure to tell them all the stuff that you said, like, hey, I find a way room to be intimidated. Like a lot of stuff was about having to be real with myself before I could really talk to somebody else about it.
Right.
Which is probably the harder part. But once you like locked in with yourself, I feel like it's easier. And 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 that changes every day. Like there's still stuff I'm discovering about myself, or like coming to grips in terms with, I think mentally it's gonna always be a process about that stuff. But yeah, I think words do have power, and a lot of what people don't understand is, if ridicule was the key to making people not be fat, then no one would be fat. Our society does a huge job of just ridiculing people for being fat.
Yes, they
constantly
do.
Like, I was on Karen Hunter's show, and she was talking about Luka Doncic, which is a common joke, is Luka Doncic is like a fat, out of shape guy. But he's not. He's clearly an NBA athlete. He's clearly one of the best NBA athletes. He got his team to the finals. If he was fat, it wouldn't matter to me. I'd be like, well, then a fat person was capable of like kicking everybody's ass all the way up to the finals. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Mm-hmm. But he's not, number one. But two, it's like, we built the ridicule in, Jason, I don't know, it's Brian Windhorst, this journalist, had like a breakdown about Luka and his lack of defense after the Game 3 loss. And I went on Facebook, and the first two posts I seen were pictures of Brian Windhorst, who is a fat dude who's on TV, and people being like, we let this guy talk about Luka. And it's like, oh, our society's already ridiculing fat people constantly. People that want to be good people, claim they're good people, do it all the time.
Yes, they do.
They're doing it in their own minds about their bodies. A lot of the people that aren't fat are just people that have the fat phobia, the fear of being fat is what motivates them to not be fat. They just let their internal voice outside sometimes to ridicule other people, because their biggest fear is, oh God, what if I'm fat? What if I look like that? So I think it's hard. Even talking about this shit on the show is not something I really was planning on doing, because I'm not like the representative, and I don't have all the right words. I don't live in the space of, we need to decolonize these words. I don't live my life like that. I don't want to become that person that feels tiring. And just because I'm fat, I don't want to be like the avatar for everybody's fucking bullshit. But it is a thing, and it is challenging. But I've never been ridiculed into losing weight. I've listened to podcasts that have gone on about people's weights forever, and I've never been like, damn, I gotta really get in the gym. Some people are like that. I've chosen to try to to actively be positive in just not only what motivates me, but I'm trying to be positive in what I put out, because it's a choice what I share with people, and I don't want to share any of the negative voice, any of the negative stuff, because that stuff isn't real. It's not true. And I would never talk to somebody with that inner voice to them. So I'm not going to talk to myself like that. So I'm never calling myself like lazy or fat in a negative way, or big back and all these jokes and shit. I'm just staying away from it. If people want to do that, I can't change society. That's what therapy is for. You learn how to navigate a world that is hostile like that. But I've been enjoying being stronger. I've been enjoying accomplishing things that I didn't know I could do. I've been enjoying honestly sticking to this and looking at my workout list every week and being like, damn, I'm at 22 weeks now. I've learned something new every single week, and I haven't quit. I haven't given up. I haven't turned away. I haven't shortchanged myself. When my trainer's not there, I'll still train like my trainer's there. When my when I'm in there and no one's in the gym, then I'm still doing it. When I got to do 4 reps, I'm doing or 4 sets. I got to do 4 sets. I'm not going 3 today, and I know I could get away with that stuff, and I'm a grown ass adult, but it means something to me to set these goals and accomplish them, and accomplishing it is more important to me than just the results. And the results are doing okay. They're resulting, but they're not going to be fast. Because I didn't join this for to do something fast. I know a lot of my friends that have decided I need something fast. I want to look at myself 3 months from now and say I weigh this much less, or I look like this. And I decided, no, I don't care if it's slow or not. If I just want to be able to do this for as long as I can and learn as much as I can. So that's what motivated me, and that's why I've been talking about it. But and it's a singular journey. It's just for me. It's not. I'm not trying to tell nobody else what to do. I've purposely not tried to tell people to be motivated or to motivate people. I haven't joined any groups like online or whatever. It's not even about those people. It's just for me. If nobody cared, I'd still do it. The only reason y'all hear about it is because we do a podcast. It's about our lives, and it's part of my life right now. Same way when I play basketball 4 or 5 times a week, I have some basketball stories every once in a while. So that's really what it's about for me.
Yeah, and I know for me, yeah, that phrase is not helpful. And I know for some people, their default is negative reinforcement. Like positive reinforcement, they can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense to them, and that doesn't motivate them. And like calling them a bad person, pieces of shit, like that's the thing. Well, I'm gonna prove to you. Everybody's different, and I know me personally. You want to turn me off, you start with the negative reinforcement. And the reason why I did not know that about myself, but as a child, my mama, she had a lot of negative reinforcements and did not realize that I was a child that did not respond well to that. And I've struggled with, and I've said it before, I struggled with my weight all my life. And because I just like, love, and enjoy food. And it's just, one of those things where for me, you get the opposite result. Because a lot of times I end up getting bigger the more she talked to me. I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck then. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give a fuck, because people are different. And I was like, well, if I'm be fat, no weight anyway, it don't fucking matter what I do, because I was the child that felt like no matter what I did, but I had to learn as an adult to view my mother very differently. And our relationship changed was that I viewed her as just a regular ass human being trying to navigate through life. This fucked up and flawed like everybody else. She didn't know the answers, and she only worked with what she knew. And I have compassion towards parents now, and I have compassion towards people with children, because I'm like, oh, I get it. There's no instruction manuals. There's no books. You're just bringing the tools that you have, and you're working with those tools. And some people decide I don't have everything that I need to give my child what they need. I'm going to go to outside sources and maybe get a tutor, maybe get a therapist. Like they realize they don't have all the answers. But society does parents a disservice by telling parents that you are the only source of knowledge for your children. That's a disservice. And because you don't have all the answers, and eventually, children grow up, children grow older, children get influenced by other people. Sometimes the thing that child needs comes outside the family. Sometimes the thing that child needs comes outside of you. And that's a very difficult thing for parents to kind of perceive and navigate when the world told them that you are literally the only person that can actually teach your child and stuff like that. And I know for me, I struggle with my weight because of that negative reinforcement. And yes, words do have power. And, it wasn't until I decided I was going to do something on my own and make my own choice of decision that I decided to, lose weight and gain weight. Like my weight has yo-yoed. And also I think, going back to some of the things you said, when it comes to, I love my mama, but I can tell her biggest fear is being fat. She's not a fat person at all, but she consistently says things. I'm like, oh, okay, your fear is that you're going to be judged for your looks and your weights or whatever. So I do believe what you say. It's a large percentage of people out in the world that are not fat because of that fear.
A lot of those Biggest Loser shows was like that. Mm-hmm. Even the title is a joke about you're a loser, you're fat. Like how Biggest Loser, you're lost all that weight. So now you're a winner. But it's just everybody has these fucked up complexes about it, which is normally why I don't speak about it. But like I said, it's really up to the individual. I understand what kind of society this is. The thing with the big back thing is just people find a new way to make jokes about people being fat. That's it. And it's kind of like the when people came up with the term thought. And everybody would be like, well, it's very fucked up if you call a woman a hoe. But if you say that thought, that hoe over there is what thought stands for, then we're not gonna count that as calling somebody a hoe. So I don't expect society to be better or whatever. I just think we change the words, then the words get figured out, they get offensive, and come up with new words, and everybody acts like we start over again. She also said, I'm not a sports fan, but hearing your commentary about the WNBA has been enlightening. I believe Cleveland had a WNBA team for a hot second when I was a kid. The ladies are just as talented as the guys. Yeah, they're very talented. I think also they play a brand of basketball that the NBA's version of like calling all these fouls and ticky-tack fouls has actually made a certain type of viewer watch WNBA and go, oh, this isn't that bad, because before they just were like, oh, it's just a lesser version of men's basketball. And I'm not arguing, but I understand what they're talking about is like dunks and athletic, like I get that, but style of play wise, there's a lot of people that kind of missed when like you went to the hole, you got bumped, it wasn't necessarily the end of the world. And so I think it's also drawing people to that to go, oh, they're still letting the women play versus the men who they recently readjusted the rules, but like up until a couple months ago, it felt like a guy comes down the court, flicks his wrist up and falls on the ground, and everybody's like, oh, clearly that's a foul,
That's why scoring was through the roof at one period of time. Yes.
Yeah. And so I and I'm not even a WNBA expert or nothing like that. I just been watching a little bit over the last like probably 4 to 5 years. I watched more when I was on Game Theory because a lot of people in the office was watching it, and I was in New York and I had shit else to really do. So I would watch a lot like Liberty games and stuff. And then and this year I'm just like everybody else, like this crop of rookies and the the explosion in popularity made me want to watch games. Now, sadly, a lot of people came because of the race war. And yes, I'm not just saying just the white people. It's a lot of black people that's in it because of the racial aspect of it. And honestly, they're kind of blowing the fun.
Yes, they are.
Something that could be fun, they're ruining because all it is to them is a race fight, and race makes things flat and silly and stupid and less thoughtful a lot of times because you'll make something fit that doesn't fit,
right?
So that you can still pick a side. And I just always try to be present in the moment and conscious of the context before I start just pontificating and slamming people. But a lot of people have been trying to make a name off of this or get people riled up, and it's been working, and that's sad that that's what's happening. Kristen says, yeah, following up from last week's feedback, I was saying the way that the media is pushing Caitlin's quotes versus Angel quotes is part of the problem. Like the whole BS about her not making the Olympic team and that being the headline as if she was snubbed. She is a rookie. We don't take babies to the Olympics. And the recent rookie who made the Olympic team was Breonna Stewart, who won 4 national titles. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, her coach from college was the coach on the Olympic squad, which happens. You know what I mean? Like that happens sometimes. It's just like, I'm bringing you because you already know all the shit. Like, you know how I practice. You know my philosophy. Like, come on, I can trust you. Period. Appreciate some sane sports content. I'm glad that you feel that way, Kristen. I'm trying to stay sane. Honest. I'm just trying to call balls and strikes, man. I just don't want to participate in this nonsense. I don't think it's fulfilling. It's not. I'm watching it drive my friends fucking crazy. It's like you got to be so careful even talking to people because they're so riled up. You can't say shit that without it turning into like an indictment or something. I'm like, I'm not doing that to y'all,
right? And I'm not the enemy,
so don't do that to me because you ain't never known me to be some type of coon ass nigga. So why would I be that way? And I got homies like texting and calling me being like, man, this thing is really fucking with me about this, or man, did you see what they did to me on Twitter? Did you like this shit is really bothering people, and it's sad that it's this way, but I called it from day one when I said this shit is a race war. This shit is not WNBA basketball. These motherfuckers don't watch the game.
Nope.
They're not fans.
No, they're not.
Some of y'all listening are the people I'm talking about. Like you're listening, you're like, damn, I actually haven't watched the game. I just retweet that account that tells you Angel Reese's stats every day.
Right.
Because I'm picking a race war thing and she's my racial avatar. which is suit yourself, but just, don't expect me to participate. Appia says, I was never so late with my comment. I really should check myself. Evie said, it's okay. You're still number one in our hearts. Let's see comments on YouTube for this episode. Yes. Educate to Free Us says, it's a backstory to the guy driving under suspended license. It was a court error. His license was valid. He had no idea the court error with his license wasn't fixed. It was funny, but like you said, it's real life and it's messed up knowing the full story behind it. And I said, yeah, I'll cover it on the show, but actually his license was suspended. He's never had a valid license. He's only had state identifications. Educate the Free said, it's not what I read, but shrug emoji, but maybe it's a different guy, but I guess I'll see on the show. I forgot to play the news article. I guess I should find this shit. But yeah, they did a follow-up. And it turns out he never had a license.
So he never went through the proper process to get an actual driver's license.
Yeah, he never had a license. He had, they made a 27 video for the news on this, Fox News Detroit. Ooh, they went deep. But apparently, what happens is you can have a suspended license before you have a license. Basically meaning like you violated some driving laws. So when you are able to apply for a license, you still won't be able to drive until you clear up whatever the problem is. And in his problem, it appeared to, and in his problem, I believe, was like some money he owed for either like child support or something like that.
Right, because they like, we gonna get our money.
Yeah, so they said in Michigan, it was once possible to technically have a suspended license without ever having a license at all. Harris's lawyer, Diane Webster Cox, tells People, adding that his non-existence license was previously automatically suspended because he had not paid child support. The Secretary of State tells People that up until recently, his privileges had been suspended since September 2007. In 2021, Michigan law changed. So in 2022, Harris was allowed to get the suspension removed, but he did not complete the necessary steps to do so. So that wasn't an error. He didn't even do what it took to get it cleared.
Okay.
When he did not pay child support, his non-existent license was automatically suspended in 2021. Later that year, such suspensions were lifted, although Webster Cox, as a client who did not have a license anyway, had not then paid the required fee to fix the documentation. Once again, not an error. He just didn't do his part. In October 2023, an officer pulled him over for driving a car with an expired license plate. He just don't believe in nothing. When he could not
really paying no tax, nobody's taxes or fines or fees.
When he could not produce a license, it was presumed to be suspended based on child support related paperwork.
Right. Because that's what the system is probably telling them.
The misdemeanor case made headlines last month with that video. So he's publicly claimed he was unaware that he did not have a license. According to Webster Cox, he believed that by having his license suspended, he in fact had one to suspend, although he had never gotten one.
That don't make sense, dog. It's a process. You just don't automatically get a license.
This is where his story falls apart. It makes no sense at all. Webster Cox says on June 5th, the judge was having none of it and went ahead and went ahead and called him out. Here's what I'm saying, though. Educate to Free Us. What I like about you is that you believe in the best in people, because you are also on the side of that teacher getting their hair did and all that stuff. And I don't know if it's a black man thing. Like maybe you feel this way for everybody. I'm gonna start trying to keep track now. But you 0 for 2 with these. But it's 0 for 2 in a good way. Like you believe in people. You want to feel like they saying and doing the right stuff, and I admire that about you.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
I admire that about you. So don't take it personal. But yeah, apparently he was lying. He got all of us with that bullshit. Ezra says Bukkake from a distance honestly sounds like my ideal relationship structure as a freaky introvert.
Always, that's something I always want from a distance.
Bukkake from a distance. Yeah. Well, freaky ass niggas.
Yeah, there's some people that want to be up in the mix. I happen not to be.
JCZ says 5 stars already off the strength of that Destro shirt. It's strange that I always assumed he was a black man under the silver, sometimes gold don't. No, because I think he was voiced by a black man on the cartoon G.I. Joe, which is why I assumed he was black. And his face was always covered, so I assumed he was black. And I didn't really know all that shit in the comic books, like he's Destro of the such and such clan and it's an Irish thing. I was like, well, he sound like a nigga to me. And he was dating a Paul. He was dating the thickest white lady on the show, of which had no black women. So I said, that's probably a brother under there. And turns out that Baroness and Destro were not having an interracial relationship. They were just white. So
right. That's just like Les Luthor in the old Batman. That nigga was brown, and they talking about that's a white man. I was like, that nigga ain't white.
The poll: have you ever had to change therapists? Yes, no, or I've never tried therapy. Yes, 53% have had to change therapists. 14% say no. 34% say I've never tried therapy. One of my friends that was actually talking to me about Caitlin Clark, because they was hounding him, had told me that his therapist said she has had multiple people like come in and spend their hour just ranting about Caitlin Clark.
It's bothering people.
And she said when she has tried to give them the tools to like examine like why is this bothering you, which is what therapy is really about. It's not, don't get fooled by Twitter and social media. Therapy is not a person sitting on a couch high-fiving you, telling you you're the greatest and you should never look at anything.
Nope.
A lot of it's introspection. It's like, why do you feel this way? What do you want to do about it, if anything? What coping methods, what mechanisms can help you feel balanced and adjusted about this? And to be honest, Caitlin Clark's such a surface level thing that it's obvious that something deeper is there.
Yes.
You know, if you're obsessed about it, it can't just be like because she's doing something that's obsessive. No, it's like a societal thing, which leads to an internal thing, which leads to what are you internalizing about this conversation.
Yes, it's a jumping off point. That
makes you want to spend an hour talking to a stranger about it or whatever, right? And she was like, I can't even get through to some people. Like they don't even want to admit that any of this is bothering them, even though they've spent an hour just only talking about this woman.
Right. You're paying to see to talk to me about this versus fixing it, because you know what? If it's not Caitlin Clark, something else will come again to trigger this, and we got to help you navigate through this.
Yeah, it's just interesting because, you know, I feel like when I say change therapists, I don't even necessarily know that it's always good. Because I think some people just want a hype man, hype woman. And so they're changing therapists till they find one that just isn't going to tell them to adjust anything about their patterns or behaviors and stuff, which is your dollar, and what you want out of therapy is up to you. But to me, it's like if I went to my personal trainer and was like, yeah, I don't want to lift those weights because it makes me sweaty. It's like at some point she's gonna be like, then do you just not want me as a trainer?
Yeah,
because I'm only gonna
pay me for nothing, basically.
Yeah, I'm going to do my job, which is to tell you what you need to do in order to gain the things you say you want. And I don't think people believe in expertise anymore. They don't believe in general practices like that, and there's less trust in people's experience more than ever. Everyone's totally. We're always getting this message of everything you feel is valid and everything you want to do is okay.
Right. And that's not always a true statement.
And sometimes it's opposite of the progress you might want to make in other spaces in your life.
Right. And it's very hard for adults to, well, people in general, but for adults, because, you know, you're quote unquote grown, but it's very hard for you to understand that sometimes as an adult, you need restrictions, restraints, you need boundaries, like you need these things in order to navigate through life. Everything isn't a fucking free for all where you could just do what you want to do all the time without any consequences or repercussions to your actions. And a lot of times for most people, if you go to a therapist, is something that you're trying to navigate through. You're not coming to them because everything is all right.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next episode. But first, let's get a little bit of music in here. All right, the next episode is 2917, the official Drunk Black History. We had Brandon Collins on as a guest. Rona Raphael says, honestly, I'm fine with binge or weekly model. Just be awesome storytelling. I'm confused though. Is Wakanda Whatever not considered a good movie anymore? Because yes, I knew the original plan that was in place by Ryan Coogler. He said so in a few interviews and on the Wakanda Forever podcast. However, I was under the impression that most considered it a solid movie. Me personally, I don't hate movies like Eternals, which have been referenced in a subtle way in She-Hulk. I recall during Iron Man 2 when Fury says Wakanda, the map of Africa, was on the screen. I was like, in the theater and forgot about it. A few movies later, it got addressed. So I'm not bothered. And there weren't as many YouTubers then telling me that it was the end of the world if Marvel didn't listen to their hot takes. A bunch of the good YouTubers were quick to thrash Echo before it dropped the moment it was announced as a binge. I also don't see why MCU should end at the end game. Nobody has such suggestions for Broccoli Productions with their most successful James Bond, nor Warner Brothers at The Dark Knight Rises. It's always the MCU that the Internet Advisory Committee is active on. Since X-Men 97 ended a lot of this is how Kevin Feige needs to treat the X-Men, or the lessons the MCU can learn from X-Men 97 when making movies. Videos have been all over YouTube. My only question, how many of these experts were consulted before Miss Marvel, The Marvels, X-Men 97, Deadpool, and Wolverine were made that it's now Kevin Feige should start? They all said the MCU was over and needed to be reset back to Iron Man 1. So much for all the MCU movies are reputations of that film. MCU gonna be just fine now. Sony would just end. Heck yes. There's a lot in there. I'm not even really sure how much of that was stuff that we said on the show or addressed.
All right. Is this a nerd off?
Yeah, I know the YouTubers. I don't fuck with those YouTubers and stuff. I just stay away from YouTube in general based off of that. And then as far as Wakanda Forever, I wasn't saying it's a bad movie. We did our review. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I enjoyed it a lot. I actually thought the undertaking was tremendous, and how he pulled it off was honestly a miracle, because no one else ever had to deal with something that drastic before making a movie that anticipated. That being said, the reception to that movie was not as positive as the first movie. I don't think that's like crazy to say. And a lot of that just didn't have anything to do with the movie.
Nope. A lot of that was replacing T'Challa. Like it was a lot of stuff coming up to that movie that a lot of the online hives and shit got a hold of that caused a lot of people to have a negative taste before the movie even came out. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
And even Brandon bringing up the stuff with the guy who played Namor, like that stuff was also negative for the movie. And then Eternals, I understand you liked it, but I'd be crazy coming on. I would sound crazy coming on this show acting like, well, that nothing's wrong. Everybody liked that movie. No, people did not like that movie. It was considered a low point for the entire franchise. It's not well reviewed, and it's kind of been treated like it didn't matter. We'll see if they retcon it. That's the beauty of MCU. They always can retcon something to make it matter. Thor: The Dark World's not really a good movie to me, but they managed to like pull at some strings in the end game that actually made those emotional moments more impactful than they would have been before.
Right.
So it's possible, but yeah, I don't know. I love the MCU, but I'm also not delusional. Secret Invasion was terrible to me.
Yes, agreed.
And I'm a very positive fan for the most part, but sometimes shit just don't hit like it's supposed to hit for whatever reasons. But I just don't see it as the end of the world. I see people acting like everything that comes out of Marvel is trash, but then when you actually go and talk to them and individually make them break it down, they can't really defend themselves in that way because it's not true. It's kind of like my man JL Covan, who is a big kind of MCU downer guy. But if you look at what JL Covan's been doing on Twitter, I suggest you all follow his Twitter if you haven't been. But he's been going through and making the case for Biden, right? He's been painstakingly, meticulously responding to people, using his big lawyer brain to break down exactly the truth about stuff with Biden. No platitudes, no bullshit. Willing to admit where there's a shortcoming or a fault, but also let's look at the context of every shortcoming, every fault, everything that's not being accomplished that you don't like. Let's look into why. Everything that's being accomplished, let's stop ignoring it. Right. That is me with the MCU.
Yes.
I'm willing. I am totally willing to be like, yeah, okay, Eternals wasn't hitting. That makes sense. Secret Invasion wasn't good. Cool. you didn't once it gets to certain directors and stuff, things become very personal for people. Like your personal taste might be, I don't like She-Hulk, it was bullshit, blah blah blah. My personal take is, as a reader of She-Hulk the comic and as an enjoyer of comedy and satire and spoof, I enjoyed the fourth wall breaking She-Hulk experience.
Mhm.
And whenever something is positively critically acclaimed, you can't just opt out of saying that shit counts. It's like saying, well, Joe Biden's Green New Deal doesn't count. Why? Because you don't feel like it counts? I don't give a fuck that you don't feel it counts, because it matters and it's hard to do and it was accomplished. So when you tell me something like these fucking shows all suck, and then like, Echo gets like this great critical reception and great ratings, then I have to say, well, what about that? They should have just ended at the end game. Okay, so what about No Way Home and Far From Home? Oh no, those were good. Right. So maybe give credit where it's due, be negative where it's due, and then we can operate in a shared reality rather than these big ass platitudes that just never really quite make sense.
Yeah, and also I do agree with your comment about Endgame. It's one of those things. We have all kinds of sequels and quadruples. We have fucking sets. This is a sixth version of shit. And nobody ever says I'm tired. How many World War II movies have we had? Where are the I'm tired of these goddamn war movies? We don't get those. How many times we gonna go to the fucking moon and fucking space where you leave out black and brown people? But these same people, you don't hear them criticizing I'm tired of it. It should have ended at the second or third version. No, you don't hear that. It's just for a lot of people. When it comes to these to the Marvel things, it's several things. There's a lot of fanboy stuff happening where they just go, fuck Marvel, fuck everything Marvel doing, but I'm still gonna spend my money, I'm still gonna be there, I'm still gonna put my dollar on it, still criticize it. Money's money to them, so they don't actually really care. And then you have a lot of people who this is just not their genre. But then, in my opinion, stop fucking reviewing it. Just do something else with your time.
Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars for the episode. I enjoy when Brandon's on the show. Appia says it was interesting to hear about his former partner. I always wonder how the other person can sleep at night. Like, really, what does he tell himself to justify his actions? Probably that he is the real victim somehow. I have no idea. Gordon's not really commenting at all about it on social media, which I think is kind of weird, just because if it's like if me and Karen somehow had a disagreement, she was going on other podcasts saying I was moving funny. If I wasn't moving funny, I think I would have to at least say something.
Right.
Just because within my own personal makeup, I don't want someone out here saying shit about me that people know we used to be cool and know that we had a relationship, and she's now saying like, well, he does blank, blank, and blank and stole my idea and all this shit. And I'm just like, anyway, guys, new show coming with the same title as Karen's show. Like, I would say something, but I guess Gordon doesn't feel the pressure to say anything. I don't know.
Nope.
Sean says, still haven't figured out why people did not like the Eternals. Really well made, epic movie, better than Doom, similar genre in many ways. I don't know, Sean. You just got to be an outlier that, feels differently. I have movies I feel differently about.
I have stuff that I love. People go, the fuck is this? So everybody has that.
Yeah, I love, I think After Earth is what it's called or something like that. Like, but it's good to me, and I guess everyone else just has to be wrong, but I accept that people don't like it. And I've read why people don't like Eternals. I don't have a problem with them not liking Eternals. I thought it was an okay movie. It was not great to me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I thought was funny is that it gave people the stuff that they had been complaining about, and it turns out we don't really want sexy Marvel movies where they fuck.
No, they don't.
We actually don't want that. We just talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
Erica says, shout out to Brandon Collar. Sorry to hear about what transpired with his former collaborator. To quote my favorite housewife, Nene Leakes, you never win when you play dirty. Wishing Brandon continued success. She also said, I prefer binge watching TV shows. A lot of times I let episodes pile up and then watch consecutively. I don't like how Netflix is doing the part 1 and part 2 thing. I feel you on that. EVE says, I love when Brandon's on the show. He's so funny. Very disappointed to hear about the fallout with his friend over Drunk Black History. I'm only family with Gordon through his guest spots on Medium Popcorn, and then when he was filling in for Justin. He's a funny dude, but that was super shady of him. Maybe one day the relationship can be repaired one day, but I believe Brandon will be successful and will continue on Drunk History on his own. I look forward to what else he has in store. I prefer to binge certain shows, but now I have so many streaming services, I can only keep up with once a week releases, or else I'll never catch up. I think there will come a point where these streaming services will combine with each other and create packages and basically just be cable all over again.
Yep, it's already happening. It's talks about some of the two or three of the major ones condensing and getting together. And so yeah, that's eventually what's gonna happen. And like Roger said, this is what they do. They come in where a lot of rules and regulations aren't. They, do all this stuff where we have all these apps, and then they come back and give you a shittier version of the cable you already paying for anyway. Because a lot of times with a lot of these streaming services, you don't get local stuff. Everything has to be online. Like it's a lot of catch-22s to it. When at the end of the day, when you was paying for cable, you got your local news in your package free of charge, plus all these other things. So it's going to be interesting to see when, because a lot of this shit has got to die. Like it has to die because there's just too many options and people don't have unlimited amount of money.
YouTube got 3 comments. Funny thing is, I saw a thread on Twitter yesterday about how The Boys is now so woke that it's ruining the show. I was like, it's always been woke. Roll my eyes. It's just funny that they are now just realizing they are the joke. Yeah, I don't even, at this point, the cycle of that marketing, I don't even know what it is anymore. Cause like, I can't imagine a person so stupid that could watch The Boys and not understand all the wokeness of the show. But at the same time, the producers keep coming out and telling motherfuckers not that Homelander's the bad guy and all this shit. It seems obvious to me. So even that feels like part of the marketing now, because like now we think of them as extra good people because they're making it clear even in their interviews that you shouldn't be rooting for the bad guys, but it is what it is. Kim Doc says the corny mental health calming television shows I love, like Chicago Fire and PD and Fire Country, have season finales on episode 12. Remember when Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and Grey's Anatomy used to give you 23 episodes? The motto has truly changed, and I don't know if I hate it or love it.
Yeah, years ago, shows, when a writer would get on shows, particularly on like standard television, you would have 24 episodes per season. Like when you got on there, you knew you was there for 24 episodes, period, because that's how it was. And like I say, then streaming services get over there, all of a sudden they don't have the same rules and regulations, they don't have the same contract with the writers and the actors and shit that the networks do. All of a sudden it's 8, it's 10, it's 2, it's 5, it's how we feel like it and shit like this. And this is not trying to funny. This was led to the writer strike because they're going, hey, y'all not even paying us for shit that y'all airing on other places, and shit like this, because they do shit that's unregulated until somebody be like, we got to regulate y'all. Y'all can't screw the people that produce this shit because you're trying to do it. Now you have to have, rooms. Now you can't like take writers, throw them in there, just have them pitch you ideas, and then y'all do their ideas without them physically being there. Now you have to have a showrunner and shit like this. Shit that you used to, shit that when you do regular standardized television on the other larger networks is required.
Let's see. The next one's Kim Doc, the corny mental health. Oh wait, she said that. I said that. My bad. Heather says, much love for the respectful talking manners and engagement you practice. Conversation versus talk over any. Oh, okay. I guess conversation versus talkovers any day. Thank you, Heather. I try. Like I always tell Karen, and I don't know if y'all hear it, but I always tell Karen, just go ahead and interrupt me, and I'll try not to interrupt her as much.
I feel bad sometimes, but I done got a lot better with that. Like, fuck it, I got something to say.
It's not you. It's I mean, it's just normal conversation. I'm just trying to make sure that people can hear everybody, and hopefully we're able to complete our thoughts and stuff. It's still, we're human. We're gonna lose track of threads and all that stuff, going on tangents. But I try to make our show as listenable as possible with the way we talk to each other. And I'm just hyper, like, paying attention, moving a bunch of stuff and listening to at the same time, and trying to make sure I don't get thrown off as well. So, we just try to balance each other out that way. Mm-hmm. The poll is, how do you prefer your streaming TV shows? Binge model or weekly releases? 60% binge model, 40% weekly releases. So very close, honestly. All right. And execute. Okay.
And I know this wasn't the poll, but for me, not that funny. It depends on the show. I know that might sound silly. There are some things I would binge, but then there are some things I really want to watch it weekly, because it's like, once you watch it, some shows you got to process. And like running through it a lot of and there's nothing wrong with it, but binging could be a great thing, because that's how I got caught up with Arrow. Because I remember you and Chris was talking about Arrow, the first few seasons when it came out, about how great the show was, and I sat down and I binged. I was like, oh, this is great. But I also could see watching it week to week could also be a benefit too. So a lot of it is just personal preference. But for some people, they don't care to, like, I just want to consume shit.
Yep, I agree. I think I just didn't want to make that the poll because I don't.
Yeah,
it would have been too long.
That's complex. I get you.
All right. A 2918, an execution of racist. We have 4 comments. Abia says, I don't watch soccer or any sports, but I know banana throwing is a thing. People used to throw bananas constantly at a famous white goalkeeper in the past. Maybe bananas are something they can easily bring in. Plus racism, of course. Don't doubt that.
I never thought about that. I guess bananas is something that they could bring in, but yeah, but I feel like this, because I'm American, bananas and monkeys always coincide to me. So I'm like, okay, it's something racist behind this.
Yeah, it's definitely racist. I mean, to me, black players have had an experience where people threw bananas at them and made ape sounds and shit.
Right.
For me to be like, oh, it's okay. And I don't know why they would do that to the white dude as well, but who fucking knows and who cares? Seems fucked up and rude no matter who you do it to, but
right.
It's also racist when you do it to black people. Resi D. Jenkins says 5 stars. Shubudi says, let me start by saying everything I know about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, I have learned from listening to this show. In regards to the Olympics, forgive my ignorance, but don't you have to try out for the Olympics? Is it different with basketball where you can just go and cherry pick the people instead of having trials for them? It is different with basketball in the USA. But ever since we started bringing pros to the Olympics, they basically tell you who makes the cut, and then you come in and work out, and if you continue to stay healthy and make the cut, you can stay in. I don't know if the women's team is the exact same as the men. The men basically have like a 4-year program. So like, you got to be doing shit every off season. You got to be doing international competitions and friendlies and all this stuff to continue to stay in good standing, so that once the Olympics arrive, you're on the team still. But of course, as guys get older, injured, other obligations come up, people just feel like getting off the team, it can change. Women's basketball is probably our most dominant United States athletic program that goes to the Olympics, as they are about to set the record for most consecutive gold medals if they win again. So them picking people that have gone before, picking people that have been in the program for years over a rookie is not a story. Mm-hmm. It literally became a story because of how it was framed.
Yes.
By the people that wanted us to fight about it. And it's really sad to watch that work because it's such an obvious tactic, but it triggered everybody in the exact right ways. And I'll just say, I've always found this argument to be silly from the second they reported it this way. I was like, that's dumb. And I see the bait. And the biggest loophole to me is, if it's about marketing, we're not advocating for anyone but Caitlin Clark. That's to me, you're not being genuine. Because Angel Reese is much better when it comes to marketing and celebrity shit.
Oh yeah, that's
so we know that it's not really like. I'm not saying you need to pick one. I'm saying if you were like, we should be bringing Caitlin Clark, you should also be like, and Angel Reese. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if they made that argument, it would be completely different.
We're trying to grow the game. Like, bring the 2 biggest names that people know in and put them on the bench if you have to, but just grow the game. But we're not saying that, are we? It's just about this one girl. It's insane. I know someone that tried out for the Olympics a few years ago for javelin throwing, and that required multiple trials. They didn't just find her. Again, I don't know a lot about this, but if Caitlin Clark didn't try out, then of course she didn't make the Olympic team. Now it's not a tryout situation, but even if, no offense to Caitlin, and I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I keep saying this because it's true, and I want people to understand you be a Caitlin Clark fan and not be one of these sycophants. She wouldn't make the team if they had tryouts. She not one of the 12 or 15 best players in the league right now. She just not. You know, it's no offense to her. And if we're being keeping it a buck, none of the rookies are a top 15 player in the league right now. You know, people cherry pick the stats. You know, the Caitlin Clark people on Twitter cherry pick the stats and stay away from the shooting percentage and the turnovers. The Angel Reese people cherry pick the stats and stay away from her shooting percentage. The Cam Brink people cherry pick the stats and you know, like then we're glossing over wins and losses and shit. Like it's everyone's picking something to just be like, here's the case, but it's mostly to keep us fighting. And the truth is, none of the rookies are good enough to be considered a top 15 WNBA player with no questions about it. None of them are right now. That's okay. That's to be expected. No one was expecting these women to come in the league and take the fuck over, except for delusional Caitlin Clark fans,
right,
who just apparently thought she was just gonna walk right in and just start shooting shots from the logo, hitting everything, and go win the championship with the worst team in the league.
Right. They didn't get the number one pick 2 years in a row for nothing, y'all.
It's just all stupid, and I hate that it's gotten this stupid. I really do. It's not fun for me.
Nope.
And I love the bullshit in sports. That's what Ball Z Sports is. I love the fun bullshit, but this has not been fun for anyone. This isn't even as good as Tim Tebow. When Tim Tebow was in the league, Tebow Mania, he was not a good quarterback, but he kept getting lucky and winning, and it was such an unrealistic, unlikely chain of events.
Yes, and it was so much fun Sunday after Sunday.
It was so fun, and people were having fun with it, and we made fun of the people that took it too serious.
Yes.
The people that were like, maybe he's a Pro Bowler. We just all laughed him out the room and kept having fun. I wish we could do that. I know racism is very serious, but I wish we could do that with these Caitlin Clark delusional people and just laugh at them and be like, nigga, obviously she ain't the best fucking player in the league, so we laughing. Oh, you think she the first one that's ever been foul hard? Boo boo. Oh,
right.
You know, and then we just move on. But instead, we got to stop him because the people that are latching onto this are starting to get worse and worse. It's becoming, Nimrata. It's becoming, conservative commentators, Clay Travis and shit hopping on this, trying to find like a post point for us to fight about. And it's sad. Evie says, I'm not saying it's Caitlin Clark's fault, but her fans are really turning so many people off of her. This latest talk about her being snubbed by the Olympic team is so out of pocket. People who are going to watch the Olympics were going to watch with or without her. Yep. The U.S. sends over 600 athletes every Olympics, so there are only so many sports people can pay attention to. The other thing too, we say fans, the people making these arguments, I would hesitate to call them Caitlin Clark fans, because what started the argument is not a genuine groundswell of people who are fans of her saying it.
Right.
It's been people like Stephen A. Smith calling the USA women's team brass idiotic. You see what I'm saying? Like that. I don't count him as a Caitlin Clark fan. Some niggas never talked about her really, other than to just bring up that ever since Angel Reese's when he started talking about her. And it's still a very singular focus. Like, I see her as a marketing brand. That's it. I don't give a fuck about her as a person. I don't care about her skills on the court, her athleticism. I don't care about the league. I don't care about the Olympics. All I care about is she is a means to get money. And he literally says he does not care when people make other arguments. So is that a fan? I wouldn't even say that's a fan. I don't think he's watching her games. I don't think he gives a fuck. Even some of these people, the Chicago Tribune editorial people, I don't think of them as Caitlin Clark fans. Those are just some fans of whiteness and white supremacy and white fragility. That's what's obscuring the argument, is that no one can just be clean in it, because if you just want to keep it basketball and facts and keep the feelings out, then you're missing what's happening with the race war. And if you only want to talk in the race war, then you're missing what's happening with the basketball. Strictly speaking for myself, I only watch track and field events, gymnastics, and swimming. I'm sure there are plenty of basketball fans who will watch for the joy of the game, but I don't think all Caitlin fans are actual fans of the game. Probably wouldn't watch anyway. Agreed. It's just a thing they would say that you should have done, and if you did it, they wouldn't watch anyway.
Of course.
And the USA team was right. If she made the team, she's an alternate, by the way. Someone could get hurt, she can make the team. But if she gets on that team, she ain't playing.
Why? Yeah.
So now we will watch people that said, well, they should put on her anyway, because I don't think people will complain that she's not playing. If anything happens and she ends up on that team, watch how they complain that she ain't playing. This is the one time they believe in just affirmative action. Just give the white girl everything. Why? Drake is clearly still pissed and losing that rap battle, but I think it's funny he took a pick at his son's soccer game because optics wise, Pusha T forced him to acknowledge his son and Kendrick forced him to be in his son's life. As long as he keeps subbing people on Instagram, the more people will say he lost. Yep. Amber Rose wants that conservative attention because I don't see her being talked about in the black circles like she used to. And really, I don't see many conservatives talking about her now either. Pull a tink tink. Yep. Because everyone can see you sold out. And that's the problem with being the conservative of color person over there. The second that you're that person, you lose the credibility that they wanted to have you over there for in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It's chicken or egg argument. It's, well, we want to get black people over here because black people will listen to, well, in her case, people of color will listen to a person that they know that's famous, that they consider like a cool person. There, once you start spouting those talking points, you're not cool to anyone anymore. Everyone's just sitting around going, well, fuck is this? Educate the Free Us commented on our YouTube for this one and said, brainwashed by the left. What the hell does that look like in America? Watching these celebrities is sickening, talking about Amber Rose. So we found the person Educate the Free Us do not believe in. It's Amber Rose. So shout out. You know what? You 1 out of 2 now. You won it 2 now. I gotta go back and look at the rest of your comments. You probably not. You probably like only missed them 2. You probably like 37 and 2. But you know, the 2 you missed was pretty bad.
That's hilarious.
The poll: more Coonan in 2024, dark skinned brothers or light skinned brothers? 69% say dark skinned brothers. Nice. 31% say light skinned brothers. Oh man. Well, as a brown skinned brother, I'm not even in this poll. So that's right.
You can be said dark skinned, my
nope,
friend.
I am brown skinned. Just because y'all try to use y'all's version of colorism to erase me and the silent majority of brown skinned people.
The paper bag test. What are you talking about?
I ain't talking about no paper bag test. It's not just paper bag or else. It's brown. It's another level in this that keeps getting erased, and I don't participate in brown skin erasure. Y'all can do that amongst y'all selves, but me personally, it's not just light skin or dark skin. It is a swath of brown in there, and y'all gonna stop erasing us from the conversation. Most of y'all don't even belong in the conversation because y'all brown skin and y'all just hate yourselves, and I'm sorry for that.
You can't put out the color wheel and make different rules, sir.
I'm not making different rules. I've always said these rules. I've always operated by these rules. And I'm sorry that many of y'all don't know how to have a conversation with nuance. It's not my fault.
Okay, sir.
Sorry my eyes work, everybody.
Okay,
I can tell the difference between this microphone and this lotion and be like, they not the same color. I'm sorry, everybody. All right, let's get to the last episode. Oh, wait.
I'm about to say.
All right, last episode, 2919. Put Caitlin Clark on it. Now, this episode, we had technical difficulties, so if you watched it on YouTube, a part of it is from Crowdcast. Then Crowdcast messed up somehow, and we ended up having to put the rest of it from the Zoom meeting. So it looked weird, but, you know, we tried to give you something. And it took a while because Crowdcast had to recover the episode so I could download. It was a lot. Pink Superhero says, not only will I cheer for Brittany Griner at the Olympics, but I hope the U.S. team makes her a flag bearer and that it makes Russia cry, USA, USA, USA. Sorry, the Olympics always get me deep in my patriotic feels. I hear you, buddy. I did. I saved the story, but I don't think I got a chance to do it on Bob's Deep Sports. But Brittany Griner said she stand for the national anthem now. And she, because the WNBA, very woke, very conscious, socially conscious, and so there was a time where they would, almost all of them was kneeling for the anthem and all this type of stuff. And so she said, but now she's staying because it hit different. And I said, you know what?
I feel you on that one, dog.
I don't give a fuck.
I ain't even mad at you.
Ain't nothing nobody could ever say to me if I was you.
It do hit different.
There's nothing nobody could ever say to me if I was you that would make me you can never make me feel bad about standing. You couldn't. I don't give a fuck what you said. Appia says, make Caitlyn, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift the new world government. Just try it. Yeah, it might work. Ramsey Jenkins says, I stayed up late last night watching Aces versus Mercury. I cheered and rooted for both teams. The W did a segment where they showed the audience how they announced each woman, they, them, she, her, receiving the news about their selection. It was glorious. I cannot stand how religion and politics give some folks the audacity to stay ignorant. Yeah, that's another thing that happens that is just, if you watch the games, you see the stuff, and you won't be saying stuff like what you see online. Because one of the things I noticed online, people like, I'll just talk about Caitlin Clark not making the team. I haven't seen anybody celebrating the women who did. And I'm like, the WNBA put out a whole video. They did show that.
They ignore the fuck out.
You're just not watching because you would rather fight about Caitlin Clark. That's what's happening.
Yep. So
you don't have to fight.
You actually don't. You don't have to fight. I hope y'all realize you can always opt out of the racial war.
In the words of Keanu Reeves, I'm at that stage in life where I can stay out of discussions. Even if you say 1 + 1 = 5, you're right. Have fun. Hashtag Happy Pride Month. EVE says, I'm sure Tory Lanez is blaming Rock Nation for his wife filing for divorce. I can hear his father shouting to the sky, Rock Nation will crumble. What happened to that guy? Appia says, I listen to Dan Savage, and his life goal is to make up a word that makes it into the dictionary. He fully says so. Polyamory wasn't suggested as a thing everyone should do, but if a person decides to accept cheating, we shouldn't press them to break up. It's their choice. Yeah, all of that is fine, Appia. No one's arguing that. What we're saying is polyamory is just cheating.
Yeah, it's already a word for that. And
yeah, that's it.
And people let people cook. They like either you stay together or don't. It's a lot of people that are together, great grandparents, because people are human and people forgive and people move on. Like, it's however that couple or relationships decide to navigate that. For some people, if their relationship becomes stronger. For some relationships, they don't make it. It varies per person. But my thing is, there's already a word for this. So, you're just making a new word for something that already exists.
I honestly don't care. I just think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he gets the word in the dictionary. I don't give a fuck. I just think it's funny that I started reading it. And as I read the definition, Karen goes, isn't that just cheating? That's what's funny about it. That's how we make the pie here. That's how we do the comedy. So our comedy bit better than your truth, but we appreciate the background.
You been filling us in.
Let's see. We got comments on YouTube. 5 of them, all from Kim Doc.
Oh shit.
She says, ha ha ha, that's my problem. That's the problem Jason Kidd is having. He's not trying to grow the game. My ass, LOL. Although if she endorsed Biden, the racists would turn around like zombies, hearing a baby crying in the woods and vote for him. I wish. That's the real problem with this whole thing for me is Caitlin Clark has no control over these people because she never asked for them or courted them. Right. They just decided.
They made the choice.
They just decided that she was going to be the avatar for white supremacy. And it's fucking crazy what they've done. It's crazy what they've done. And now, of course, because Twitter has also decided that she's the avatar for white supremacy, even black people have decided that so they can have someone to be mad about.
Right.
Rather than obviously see what the big picture is and what's happening and go, well, this 22-year-old girl is not going to be the one to solve this fucking problem that she didn't start. But we're treating her like she just need to tell them she don't like this. Well, they kept asking her questions and she did say that yesterday. And immediately everybody moved the goalpost. They don't give a fuck what's happening. It's not about her. And if you say it's not about her, they act like you're defending her. No, I'm just saying that I'm watching something not be about a person while y'all pretend that it is. That's all. I've seen it before many times.
Right. And the thing that really frustrates me about Caitlin Clark is that I realized with a lot of people, you can't have logical conversations. Once I realized, we can't have logical conversations based in reality, I tap out because it's like, no. We're not all starting from the same reality point. So I'm like, y'all do understand that she didn't ask for this nor court this. These people chose. Well, why don't she tell them to stop? These people chose her. She did not go out here and said, this is what I want. And they're arguing against that. I'm like, we can't talk then because we're our facts and what and the reality of what we're both talking about is not the same. You're being delusional because you just want to argue and fight and get to the next point to prove yourself right for whatever race war thing that you want to do. You already got your bullet points. You already got your things checked off. And so regardless of what I say, you're not even going to talk about what I said. You're just going to spit back whatever facts that you have or however you feel emotionally that's not based in anything that I'm talking about. This is why, like you say, it strips the fun out of shit, because I just want to watch basketball and make jokes. And you're like, no, I want to take things to heart and take things seriously and take things personally. We're not having the same conversation.
Let's see. Vagina lips flapping in the wind is crazy as hell. I'm cackling. That could be distracting. Kim Doc says Tory Lanez being married and soon to be divorced took me by surprise. What on earth, ladies? Is there no one else in the world left? Right? Slim Pickens. Kim Doc says, what happened to the pun sound? That Chiquita story had the puns ringing off. I was probably high as hell. Couldn't figure out the buttons at the same time in time to do the jokes. I don't know. Mary Tory Lanez. Woo, them standards on Hades. My goodness, the embarrassment. All right. That's it. The poll is polyamory. Is it a type of relationship or they just rebranded cheating? 92% say they rebranded cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 8% say it's a type of relationship. So shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to get to the voicemails. Let me play some music though.
This is to my recollection, you were a very unusual young man. What actually do?
All right, we got 9 voicemails, which that can't all be real people.
Some of them is butt dials.
Let's find out. This person left us a voicemail at 1:55 a.m. Maybe they're in different time zone.
Hi, Roddy, Karen. I'm listening to you right now, and Karen's going on about how spoiled she feels, and I just think that is so precious and wholesome, and I'm so happy for you.
Oh,
I love to see it. I love it. I don't usually date people, but I love when people around me, or I mean, yeah, I don't know you like that, but you know,
mm-hmm.
I follow you.
Yes.
Just that are in good, healthy relationships. It gives me hope for the rest of us. And it's just good to hear, you know, that you feel so good about Rod, Karen. I love it. Anyways, that's all. Have a good day.
Now, she did call back.
Oh, that's precious.
I almost managed to leave only one voicemail, but then I realized that I forgot to tell you who it is. This is Linda. Hello.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm Landorf on certain platforms.
okay.
But
Thank you, Linda.
That's me. Okay.
Good. Now I can add because I like to add y'all's names to the contacts so that when we see y'all call again, I can be like, okay, that's Linda. So, but thank you, Linda.
Oh, thank you. Because that's my truths, and everybody, you know, feels differently about that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for love. I love being in love. I know some people like love is dead. That's you. I love being in love, and I love being loved.
Yeah, I think also like enough people share the negative stuff that, you know, sometimes it makes people feel weird to share positive experiences.
Yes.
And then I think also it's a fine line because we don't do a relationship podcast. We don't really do advice. We don't try to sell our relationship or sell like relationship advice to people and stuff. So sometimes and the way I feel about a lot of this stuff is it is very individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't feel like I have sweeping advice for everybody or I need to flaunt this in front of everybody and all that stuff.
Right.
But I'll never be ashamed of like being happy and being true to myself and stuff like that. So, you know, we share within reason, but you know, and obviously we appreciate each other. And I think sometimes y'all get to hear that. And I think that's a good thing. I listen to a lot of podcasts and yes, it's a lot of bad shit out there. A lot of people going through it. So if some people are doing well and feeling healthy and good about it, why not share those moments too?
Yeah, and I understand everything. I got to be happy, happy, joy, joy all the time. But if you listen to the world, nobody loves everybody. Everybody ain't shit. That there's nothing joyous out in the world. Is fucking consistently doom, gloom, doom, gloom. We're all gonna die. And you're like, oh, I get it, guys. But in reality, for a percentage of people, it's like, yeah, that shit is going on. But in the midst of all that shit, there is some silver lining into that too. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of extra effort to find it, but I've always been there. There's a silver lining type of personality.
Yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of ways to be happy and stuff, and I like happy as well. So thank you, Linda. Iman.
Hey, y'all, this is Iman. Y'all ridiculous. Oh my god, I just had to call in and let y'all know. To the Don't Cry Over Spilled Sperm episode, and no one can do what y'all do. Y'all are amazing because my heart has been so heavy this last couple of days from just various things, and I'm just covering my mouth, busting up my gut, laughing at this most horrible. I'm just like, oh my god, this world is sick, and y'all are just. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for the laugh. You just made my day, even though the story. I'm absolutely horrified. I be glad because my daughter just. We don't even like icing. We just always stress the icing out. I was like, oh. Goodness. All right. I'm never gonna be able to look at cupcakes again. Make them at home. All right, love y'all.
Thank you.
That just make them at home.
It definitely makes me feel good.
Duck and Hines sales went through the roof, didn't it?
It definitely makes me feel good whenever we can, one, make people laugh and stuff like that, and when we can find humor and stuff like that. I try to pick my spots with it. Some stuff I try to keep off the show, or but stuff slips through all the time. I'm only human, but some stuff is like, okay, I'm not gonna try to make this funny, but gallows humor and stuff and laughing at that's a very Black tradition and a very my family tradition and funny stuff like that. So I'm glad that we made y'all laugh with something so silly and ridiculous, because it was silly and ridiculous to us too. Erica writes, calls in.
Good morning, Rod and Karen. It's your girl, Erica. First of all, I miss seeing you guys in public. Every time I go, I'm like, where are they going to pop up on pictures? It was just like so far the highlight of my 2024. So thank you for that. I just had to pause the episode. I heard you reference Nick Cannon, and I know I might be projecting, but I fucking can't stand Nick Cannon. It is fuck him forever. I think it is incredibly reckless that he has gone out and created all of these families with these multiple women. There is just no way that he has the time or capacity to be, I don't want to say loving, but just be an involved, active parent in all these different kids' lives, all these different moms. In addition to the fact that he also ill, he has lupus. So maybe he might die. I mean, not maybe, but I mean, it's inevitable in my heart. I just think it's reckless and I can't fucking stand him. And like I said, I know I'm projecting because my dad died 2 months after I was born. And I really wish I had a dad. But I just think it's incredibly reckless of Nick Cannon and I can't fucking stand him.
Well, I'll say this, man. I find it more weird that it's a joke to him too.
You know what I mean? He's in on the joke, right?
Like a lot of his content is ha ha ha. I'll be having kids with all kinds of women all the time. I got mad kids, and like, cause when that article we read, it really was a commercial for some soap. Like if you pay attention to that article, it's really just him being asked about his kids, But then it's him trying to sell us some soap. Now, look, maybe he should be selling soap so he can keep them payments up. I don't know. But my point being, like, damn, that's wild. Like, his kids are gonna grow up. They're gonna see all this stuff, and those are really the arbiters of if you were a good parent or not. Is your kids as they grow up and look back and be like, damn, my daddy really wasn't around, or he said I can be available to you, but it was through Zoom, or whatever. Like, those kids will be the ones to tell us when they're grown. And I know he's always been kind of a weird guy. I heard he's like cool to work with. He's always putting people on. I know a lot of people that owe their careers to the Wild 'N Out stuff. It's just, people complicated and human, but he's decided to very publicly have a lot of kids with a lot of women, and he's also very publicly wants to be a outspoken pro-black intellectual type. And people look at your personal life and try to align that with the things you talk about and say, is this what black people need to be doing? Is this what we as a race are being bettered by? And I don't know that he is always beating those allegations. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Tori left us a couple voicemails.
This is Victoria. I rarely call in. I've been listening since 2015, and I rarely call in. But boy, when you talked about that Jay-Z funding school vouchers in Pennsylvania, I just had to get on here and say something. First of all, I'm from Pennsylvania. Secondly, I used to work in government. Well, I still work in government, but I used to be very heavily invested in the legislative side of education. So I was following all of that. I used to work for legislators, and I was following all of that that's been going on with the voucher system and everything else. You are 100% right. Wherever you see school vouchers and this heavy initiative for school vouchers, it is very much a Republican issue. I feel really bad for the people that were pushing this initiative to Jay-Z, because it sounds tone deaf at best. But they clearly did not do their research, because it is a very widely publicized issue. Like, it was one of the top 10 issues of this year's Pennsylvania budget. So I don't know, you don't know the details here, but just quickly, last year the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that basic education funding, the way it was done here in Pennsylvania, was ruled unconstitutional. Ooh. So they had to whip out the Basic Education Funding Commission, to this whole study and talk to all of these education providers and agencies, including public charters, private schools, cyber charters, and all of those things. And it's a huge, huge issue. So the fact he came in, looked around the room, saw a bunch of Republicans that were supporting school vouchers, which they were the heaviest proponents of this thing, and the vast majority of...
She called back.
Sorry, this is Victoria again. This is why I never leave voicemail, because I always get cut off by that lady, and it just makes me so nervous. And I think I'm going to be able to do a voicemail within 3 minutes, and I never do. Anyway, I got into the weeds, and I did not mean to. But even if you were not following the Supreme Court case on education funding here, even if you're not following any of the bills or the arguments, the committee meetings, or any of that stuff that was happening up here, and if you weren't paying attention to the news somehow, because all of it was very widely publicized, look around the room. If people that are supporting your initiative don't look like you, or support people who look like you, or support things that you would support, except for this one thing, that's probably not the group you want supporting your initiative. And it's just really sad. I feel really, really bad for the people who put this forward to Jay-Z's team, like, oh yeah, you should do this. And, unfortunately he went along with it. I don't have any hate for Jay-Z, but you guys are right. This is just not the one. And I don't blame people that are mad. I don't blame that at all, them at all, because this was bad. This is a bad look. So that's just it. My 2 cents is worth, hopefully 2 cents is probably all it's worth. But I'm just saying, I just had to say that, because I followed this thing for a whole year just to see this news out here. Like, yeah, people are mad at the Jay-Z thing because they want to invest in school. It's not just about investing in school. You have to do your work and look a little deeper into what you're actually investing money into. So anyway, that's all. You hope you guys have a good one. See ya.
Thank you. I know you were joking, but you are very informative. You're letting people know because, like I said, I'm not in that area. I don't know how a lot of these things are ran. I don't have any children and things like that, but it's good to know some of the information that you are relaying. And it's also, not to me funny. I wonder how this was presented to his team, but it is up to his team to do the research to find out is this worth their time and all that shit. But I kind of wonder, like, how was this even presented to them? Like, you know how they present packages? Who knows?
Well, I mean, so a couple things are working in this. Number one is Rock Nation, but we all see Jay-Z when anyone says Rock Nation.
True.
Someone pointed out the woman who was in the article defending it, who is the person that does their outreach in this area. She made a statement about it. So I don't think it's like Jay-Z necessarily said anything or even whatever. I mean, if he wanted to veto it, I'm sure he could, but I don't know how involved or not involved he is.
I can see
the second part is Jay-Z as a person is a super hyper capitalist who also believes that you can make hyper capitalism pro-black. I know everyone listening rolled their eyes and don't agree. I'm not saying you need to agree. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm not saying he's right, but that is his belief system, and it to me points out everything about how he navigates, what rooms he wants to be in, who he spends time with, what he believes he can accomplish in those rooms, and who he thinks he's doing it for. I think it goes against most people's. I think most people can't balance the idea that he is at once feeling that he is making progressive moves for black people and at once feeling like hobnobbing in those rooms is a good look or a place to be. But that's for y'all to I just call them like I see it. And Rock Nation's done a lot of good work.
Yes,
it's kind of like MCU. It's kind of like Biden. People don't want to highlight the good things they do because it's easier to bang on the stuff they do that we don't like. They've done a lot of good things that we do support.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just never gonna be I'm never gonna be so in any camp that I can't be like, well, this thing I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to like everything the Biden administration does.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of shit where I'm like, yeah, they gonna get fried for this and they should. And I hope it don't lose them in an election or no shit. But yeah, I don't agree with it. And this is how we voice our displeasure. I'm not talking about not voting. I'm saying you voice your protest is voicing your displeasure.
Yes, it is.
You know, tweeting about it, sharing it, talking about it on your podcast. That's how you voice displeasure. We're not in this like I'm rooting for a sports team, you know. Shit, even with a sports team, you boo when you don't like something. So
yeah, you do.
All right. Next voicemail. Look like we got 4 of them from Blue Wave Rider.
Okay.
4.
Hey, Ron, I was listening to one of your podcasts. I don't remember which one, but y'all was still talking about that teacher and his goddamn braids. Why don't niggas just keep shit off social media? Everything does not have to be on social media. My Lord. You put your stuff out there in the public domain and everybody respond and you fighting off enemies and stuff you didn't even know you had, you know. If he had left that stuff off social media, he wouldn't be catching all the smoke. Aside from the fact that what he did wasn't appropriate, just, you know, I like social media, but I also like it when our personal life was just that, our personal life. I didn't have to put my stuff in the ether for everybody to see and comment on because it was none of their goddamn business. Y'all be cool. Right on.
All right. Hey,
is this WROD Radio? 24/7, 365. Listen up, man. Can y'all put AOC's Girl, Baby Girl in the pocket rotation? That's a fire drop. I'm done. Bye.
All right. I'll write that down. There's a few I've been meaning to add, and I just can't remember after the show. But I'll add Baby Girl, AOC.
Baby Girl. Baby
Girl.
Oh, and the other one, the Plum built.
Okay, yeah, I don't know when we would use that one.
Probably rarely, but just in case.
Yep.
You never know when you have to pull it out the shed.
Yeah. All right.
We can do like that.
Yeah, writing it down. All right, he left more. Oh, and then yeah, that teacher. What's so weird is I don't know that initially that video needed to be so divisive in the first place, but him putting it up after knowing it was divisive lost me immediately.
Because then it became about content.
I will always be skeptical of people that just are like, it's whatever makes the content. I'm gonna always be like, I don't know, dog. All right, next voicemail. You left two more.
Yeah, I'm playing catch up, and I just want to declare for the record, cereal before milk, nigga. What's wrong with y'all?
What's wrong with Karen? I don't get it.
I forgot how you ate that Twix bar, man.
No, it's not me. What? Nah, you better call back with an apology. I need an apology next week.
Shots fired.
I don't do that. Karen does that weird shit.
Roger's taking strays. I sure do. I will drown that cereal in some milk and don't give a damn.
Like a serial killer, no pun
I
intended.
sure will.
Butt dial.
We call that what? How's it a butt dial if you say it's a? All right, next.
Just looked at me like, my bad.
Next voicemail. I don't know who this is from. Oh, this looks like a butt dial. Okay, that's a butt dial. All right, let's see. The next one looks like a butt dial to me. Okay, these ones that are repeat butt dialers. How do I block? Oh, I can block them. Well. Guess who's getting blocked? Block button. All right, let's check you butt dial. Okay,
Butt
and
dials.
you're blocked. You'll only be butt dialing us one time because you're out of here, buddy. This one
We don't like the butts, as you can tell.
I love butts, but I don't like being called by them.
I mean, yeah, we do like butts, but yeah, we don't like the butts picking up the phones.
Yeah, I mean, speak for yourself. I'm just saying, I'm a big fan of the butts. They're all over my Instagram. They're not all over my call log.
I mean, butts can pick up phones, but I mean, like, if butts call, this number is the problem.
Y'all are getting blocked. All right, so we didn't have that many voicemails, and we had like 5. That's still a good day. All right, last segment is, of course, the emails. So
I know what we're here for. Psycho music. I want to call you one.
Peach wine had built Butch.
Oh, what now?
Peach wine had built Butch body. Peach wine had built Butch body.
Oh, what now?
Peach wine had built Butch body.
Is it okay if I call him?
Peach wine had built Butch body.
all right. The first one's from our girl Kim Doc, who says, "Good day, Karen, my love, and BBL Roderick. LOL, just kidding, Rod. Congrats on the gains you made. It's a wonderful journey to follow, bro. Thank you. I wanted to leave a voicemail, but the signal was busy each time. Probably because Blue Wave Rider was calling back 4 times.
That or the butts was calling in.
Listening to Never Cry Over Spilled Sperm episode. My Lord, what a title. I've definitely hit the stage of my relationship where I look around like, woo, child, the absolute ghetto awaits me if I ever lose her. It ain't finna happen, okay? She set such a high standard and bar simply as a person, but as someone I live this life with, it's everything. I say all this because I really have always appreciated the looks we get into your relationship. When you give your all to your person and they give it back, there's nothing better in life. We all know your wife is the most precious thing on earth to you, even though you talk over her disrespect on the microphone." Again, kidding.
Hilarious.
So thank you for allowing me to reflect on that within my own life. I'm out the ghetto and never turning bike. I also want to thank you so much for your for the LGBTQ news segment. I never thought I would be a part of this beautiful community, but now that I am, the amount of hidden anxieties it's uncovered is astounding at times. We live in Maryland, so it's generally accepting, but there are those times when I just can't shake the feeling of wondering what's behind the service we get at certain restaurants or the stares we get. Right. We have each other, so we get past it quickly, but it can build up. And and it's like, you never, just like with racism, which you obviously know, but it's like you never know what's in your head, what's being projected, what's in their head, what they're projecting on you, what's real, what's, and out of a abundance of caution, a lot of times it's like you almost have to assume the worst so that you can, be prepared for all kinds of bullshit. But yeah, it robs us of so much. On Karen Hunter's show, they were reading this man's I guess eulogy that he wrote for himself after he died. He put it in the newspaper, and in part of it, he talked about how he had lived for however long he was, however old he was, and like 25 of those years, he had a love of his life, but it was a man, because he was basically gay, and he was coming out as gay literally for the first time ever in this posthumous way. He is dead. So
so for some people it's the first time they hear
yeah,
it.
and they were sharing it kind of like, and I get it, because it is a kind of a beautiful thing that his last words were the definitive statement on his life and how he felt. But I couldn't help but feel sad, because I said, man, that person had to live all of that in silence and in secret. And they even admitted that it's not like, well, I'm just a private person. It's no, I was in the military, and I had all this pressure on me, and I didn't want to deal with the fallout of my life if everybody knew I was gay. So I lived my whole life in the closet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad he got to say what he had to say. Well, that's sad that he didn't get to live how he wanted to live, So I told her one day in jest, wow, I really signed up for feeling this every now and again, but I choose you every minute, every day. Still, it's such a sobering thought. I understand the privilege I have in recognizing the grand scheme of the community encounters we have are so minor. Happy Pride to anyone celebrating loudly or quietly. Oh, and on a silly note, Karen, Rod has transitioned to the Hoochie Daddy shorts, so you now can initiate the objectification, and I'm sure he'll get a kick out of just playing, unless you're gonna do it. Love to everyone. Enjoy this bomb ass weather.
I already be picking at him by his thighs being out. Was he gonna fuck around and start getting them 4-pack, 6-packs, and all of a sudden come to cut off t-shirts.
I don't think we're getting the 4-pack, 6-packs. Let's just take it a day at a time. Sid says, let me get my fat ass on this soapbox real quick. Roll eyes emoji. I commend you for sharing your experience and staying true to you. I just hate that everyone thinks that you need our opinions on your body. You inspired me to start juicing simply because you found something to be invested in and excited about post-pandemic. I'm just now able to admit that I neglected a lot of shit during the pandemic because it felt like the world was in and survival was all that I had capacity for.
Right.
You, me, a lot of people. A lot more people than they want to admit. And what I think is so funny is being like, fat is something everybody sees. So unfortunately, we live in a life where motherfuckers are judging us for all this stuff. I know so many people that have other coping methods that are like whatever, like they lean into a bottle during the pandemic. They lean into drugs. They stop taking care of their teeth. They stop, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff that on the surface, nobody's ever going to really notice. So they just live their lives and they be going around talking bad about fat people and shit. And you're like, fam, you're like, alcohol almost killed you. Why do you even give a fuck about me? Why are you even looking around at other people feeling the way? I saw a tweet from somebody that was like one of these like gym people accounts or whatever, and he was talking about there's a guy who's coming to the gym 150 days in a row and his body still looks the same. I told you can't outwork a bad diet. And people were like, or that motherfucker likes to work out and he's not going in there for the goals you have
losing weight, right?
Of whatever your Instagram God goals are. Maybe that's not why that person does what they do. What the fuck are you doing? How come you ain't applying 150 days of commitment? How come you aren't minding your fucking business? How about that one? So, it is a thing. And I think the main thing for me is I'm trying not, I'm not going to be hostile about it unless someone says something mean or something to me, because I understand what we do is public, what we talk about is public. People gonna have their opinions on it. I appreciate the encouragement. Honestly, I'm not one of those people that's like, don't talk to me if I lose weight, don't you say. I'm not one of those people. I know other people are like that. I'm just putting it out there for people so that they don't even feel awkward or bad. If you think I'm looking good or I'm doing something that you can see the growth or the change, I'm absolutely cool with you being like, cool, that I appreciate. You look great. If it's inspiring you. A lot of people actually DM me and reached out and post like, hey man, it's inspiration. You making me get on my grind. Or I had, let some things go during the pandemic and I'm hopping out there. And I'm like, honestly, that I hate to be a basic bitch, but that honestly moves me emotionally to be like, damn, that feels good, because I know there were people that were doing stuff and I was looking at them and they were like making me think about things and be like, okay, maybe I should try that, or maybe I should find my thing that makes me feel this way. There's a woman who ended up becoming like a straight up bodybuilder, and won a competition, and I forget her age. I didn't want to put it out there like that, but it was like not a thing she had been doing her whole life, is my point.
Right.
And she was just like, why not me? And she looked great, she's super strong, all this stuff. She's winning the competition. I'm like, oh my gosh, I watched this person decide to do this thing, and then they did it, and like I might as well have been there. You know what I'm saying?
True, cause I was cheering them on.
So like, if people get some of that from me, I'm passing it along, and I hope, because it was people that inspired me in that way. And like I said, I'm not really doing it for like a specific physical goal or anything, or like I need y'all to see this and y'all gonna get these. Like, it's cool, it's fun and all that stuff, but right now I'm really just day at a time, do what I'm supposed to do. And then and honestly, it hasn't really hurt my life in any major way where I'm like, I don't eat anymore. I'm starving myself, or all I eat is green beans or whatever. Like, it's not like that. So I've been finding what works for me. I hope people find what works for them. And I would like to be around to take care of the people I'm supposed to take care of and stuff like that. I want to go to the doctor and look at those numbers and results and go, yeah, that's what's up. I definitely feel better already in many ways than I was feeling before. Just in energy wise, just the general feeling, because I'm eating a little bit differently and stuff like that. So yeah. Caring about my longevity brings the balance I feel was missing to thrive again. So I hear you, and I've heard Karen over the years. She talks about yoga, exercise, and I think it's inspiring. And you don't need to tell me how much you lost to make it count. Insert steak face to that nigga who thought that was cool. Yo, my God. My problem, not to get all Larry David, my problem wasn't even, it's like once you ask and double down to be like, I just need to know the amount of pounds, I'm gonna need a little bit more celebration, nigga. That's all.
Right.
You then don't ask.
Don't ask.
It's not like I said 3 pounds. I said a good amount. You should be like, wow, okay, I gotta get like you or something, or me too, or whatever. I don't give a fuck what you. It just can't be like a head nod, walk away. Then shut the fuck up.
Ain't that the truth? Why'd you ask?
Anyway, best crab boil in Charlotte is red crab across from North Lake Mall. The Cajun fried rice with the shrimp from a boiled chef's kiss. Okay,
have to put that on the list.
All right. On the WNBA, I'm a fan of all the gay shit. Race is so NBA. Get into the queer shit. I know we are kind of missing, but sometimes it's blending. Like Dejanay, who I guess if you know about the WNBA, one of the players that was critical of Caitlyn's first answer when she was asked about her name being used in what was it called? Being used in culture wars. She gave an answer that was basically like, I can't control that, and I'm not participating in any of that stuff. I'm just playing basketball.
True statements.
All my relationships are cool with my teammates, and da da da. And then later, someone specifically asked her like, okay, but when they're using your name for bigotry and for racism and da da da, and then she's flat-footed like, I'm disappointed in people that do that. I don't believe in that. I love this league. I looked up to this league. I want to be part of this league. I chose this league. I respect the winners league. And she went in all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so between those two statements, Dejanay, who's a player on another team, had who also mocked Caitlyn when Caitlyn was trying to draw a foul. It's a very funny video. You can see it on Twitter. But Dejanay had put out a statement like, using all these big words to basically be like, hey, you don't get to be part of the WNBA and duck this conversation. You have to stand up against it because that's the history of the league, basically. And so once Caitlyn put out the other statement, when she was asked again, Dejanay was cool with it. Everybody, it was like, okay, what she did with, according to, I don't know if they really cool with it, but it's cool enough. They were like, okay, she said something, right? Dejanay is the girlfriend of one of the players on the Fever, which is Caitlyn's team. Dejanay was in attendance at the game that night. That's the race and the gay shit getting together.
And that's the mess we talk about on Balls Deep Sports.
That's some good mess.
Yes, messiness.
But if you just here to be like, Lord Jesus, get off the white lady, you're just missing all the fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'm sorry. Anyway. But I'm what you said, and good luck and all that stuff with your juicing and you know, whatever else you want to get into, yoga and stuff. There's so much stuff out there. And I just think the mindfulness of it, I just wish people pushed more about stuff than just losing weight. Cause like the mindfulness of yoga is beautiful. The flexibility is beautiful. I'm more flexible now. Like I was doing something the other day where I was leaning back and touch my leg behind my anyway.
Come on, like, through flexibility.
I was just like, damn, this shit really.
I'm about to say, when you start yoga?
I mean, I've done yoga before, but Alicia says, hey y'all, so many things. I know y'all got a bunch of other feedback to get to, so I'm gonna compact this like half blackface. This email was supposed to be sent y'all weeks ago, and then the topic were at peak relevance, but unlike half blackface, the negligence and incompetence is my own fault. JL special was really funny and we were robbed. Agreed. I'm sure he's somewhere smiling and then furiously his brows furrowing. But that's, you know, you bought him a brief smile. It feels like years ago, but Kendrick was speaking to my soul when he talked about how much he hated Drake. All my friends, I know how I feel about that Canadian man. Like I've been saying, Celine Dion, the Queen of the North, is the only Canadian I'm riding with.
Come on through, Queen of the North.
Nelly Furtado done got forsaken.
You bet.
What's the other one that I forget the other one's name. It's like three of them. I might have messed up the signs on the poll and the teacher and the student unbraiding his hair. I originally voted it wasn't a big deal. Then I got to thinking, what the fuck was this nigga doing? When I first saw the video, I thought about my middle and high school teachers and the relationships we had with them. I thought I could equate them, but man, hell no. I can remember some teachers being lax with us and even casual, but playing in their hair, nope. Even though they were cool, they definitely would have told us to go sit our asses down. He seemed like a young, I'm gonna be tight with my students. I let them call me by my first name, and I was cool in school, so I'm gonna be a cool ass teacher kind of teacher. He gonna fuck around and end up jobless. Only thing I'll challenge is he feels less like I was cool in school, and so I'm gonna be a cool teacher. He feels like I wasn't cool in school, and this is my chance to be cool. I could be cool to these kids and on Twitter and TikTok. That's how he feels to me. Like he was pressed, and it really got worse the more he kept talking. I was like, oh, you sound like a loser who wants us to think he's cool. Like cool people don't do what you're doing right now. They just be cool.
They just be cool.
You're not being cool at all, being like, but what about this teacher? She got a big butt. Huh? Did you think about that? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and the big butt teacher like, now why am I in it?
Right. For years, I've been meaning to tell y'all, thank you for compiling the hashtag Dem Thrones episodes and posting them on Spotify. I love y'all recaps. And I missed that show. So every now and then I go back and listen to a few episodes. Since I had my baby last year, this playlist has come in handy. I fire up some episodes when nursing or put my baby to sleep. It's been a year and she's been listening to y'all since day one. So I'm pretty sure she can recognize y'all voices. If y'all notice a random uptick in these episodes, that's just me and my baby. A hashtag Dem Thrones question I have is what happened to Patrice? Why did she stop doing the recap? She was one of my favorite guests. I remember she lost that Tippy by 3 votes. She hooked us up for 2 seasons and then she was gone. No shade to Justin, Nina, Nick, Jude, JL, the biracial darling, and the mighty hot 5-star Crowdcast crew. Patrice was my girl. Anyway, I have a bunch of other stuff, but this episode is ridiculously long as is. I'll just have to send the emails on time next time. Too nervous to call, and I'm not trying to be one of those people that call back 3 or 4 times. So email it is. Thank y'all for all you do. The other Alicia that used to write into the show, and then she said later in PS, I'm listening to the episode with Eddie Collins, and y'all just explain what happened to Patrice. What the fuck? Y'all psychic? Y'all in the Illuminati? What the hell? This is crazy. What's the Powerball numbers for next week? I don't even know how many numbers is in the Powerball.
Me either.
Sid wrote back, hell nah, a blow-up doll is fucking wild at RH Rooftop. As a customer, sir, you are ruining my dining experience. Take that shit to the crib. Yeah, and especially because I almost would feel differently. You know what? let me not be full of shit. I wouldn't feel that differently. I was gonna say I almost would feel differently if he was one of those people that delusionally believed that was his girlfriend. But I'm gonna be real, it's just as creepy. It might be worse if he was like, but I love her. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to eat here. What are you gonna shoot this bitch up when they kick you out? I'm out.
Right.
Nah, I can't. Yeah, some shit I can't get with. I don't let my 5-year-old bring her Barbies in there, so neither can you. Also, was it a date? Is she clean, friend? Because I can just imagine the fluid transfers as he carried her up and through the restaurant, putting a wine glass all up in her mouth hole. Amount of stress this caused, that girl needs a health inspector badge or something. That was serious journalism because whatever the fuck is happening. Yeah, all because I think he lost a bet.
Fantasy football, he came in last place, and the person that came in last place, probably the deal was you probably had to go to a fancy restaurant with this doll.
Yeah, not me. I'm not taking no bets like that. Hi. And then Amber replied to, she was the person that wrote in about her and her I think it was a boyfriend. And how he mentioned he was disheartened by the current state of political affairs and feels Trump has a complexion for protection. It was inspired by a conversation about our frustration with people choosing not to vote. And she wanted that question about the impeach. Like, why is people getting impeached and they can still run for office? She says, thanks so much for your response to my question. My boyfriend and I listened to it together and we both feel more clear about the whole impeachment thing. It's a trial that requires due process. You're totally right that it's taught in school as, well, they impeach so-and-so, it's over now type thing.
Right.
Yeah, it threw me off too.
They simplify the process.
And what's funny about it, Amber, is every time I hear impeach, I have to do a mental thing in my brain of like, that's just the process. That doesn't mean they had to resign. That doesn't mean they were convicted of anything. It's just the literal start of the process. That's it. And once the process starts, you have been impeached technically, even if you don't get kicked out of office. I also just wanted to clarify that my boyfriend does vote. He and I both have every year since we were 18, thanks to the guidance of our parents. I just ain't want y'all out here thinking I was dating a non-voter. Thanks again.
You ain't want that stigma? Like, no, I don't want y'all having that thought about me. We vote in this house. Me and my house, we vote.
That is so, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
There's something so adorable about you wanting us to know that. And like, I don't know. There's something about the idea of like non-voter as like a stigma, you know, like, oh, I saw your boyfriend came in and I don't want to cast aspersions, but he look like he don't vote. Is he a non-voter? Girl, you fuck with them non-voters? Oh, well, good luck to y'all kids. You know they're gonna be bi-vocal. And you know
how they feel about that.
You can tell them people that was raised by a non-voting mama, if you know what I'm saying. They got different views. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with my dad for Father's Day. Yeah. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have